I was pulling some parsnips out of here. So I got some really nice ones, right? You know, some sort of average grocery store size. Of course, that's maybe an inch and a half at the top, maybe almost 2 inches, but that's a 3-4 incher type, right? Hey folks, I'm in the middle of filming a video right now where I'm taking you around the garden and showing of the beds that I, covered in some way with plastic or a dome or something, which ones are thawed and which ones are still frozen. And then I got thinking, what's more gratifying than instant gratification? So this is my parsnip bed. I'm going to do the whole video. It's a longer video, but I thought I'd do a short video. This is my bed of parsnips that I've had covered with the hoop house all winter long. And as you can see, the soil is soft. Now, the beds that aren't covered, the soil's frozen down like a foot deep. And even some of the beds that are covered, depending on where they are located and how much sun those spots get, some of those beds are frozen 4 or 5 inches thick. Some of them are only frozen an inch thick. But this one, it's one of the better spots in the garden. That's another reason to do some form of winter gardening, trying out little microclimates on your garden. You really do get to see where your hot spots are. I know the sun takes a different path in the winter, but you still learn a lot about your hot spots. This bed is probably one of the hotter beds in my entire garden. I'm actually planning to plant eggplants here next year, and this is a good spot for it. But anyway, yeah, I was pulling some parsnips out of here. So I got some really nice ones, right? Some sort of average grocery store size. Of course, that's maybe an inch and a half at the top, maybe almost 2 inches, but that's a 3-4 incher type, right? Anyway, I thought I'd just make a short film of just pulling some of these, not to show off or anything, but to just inspire you to try this sort of thing in future years, right? I still have parsnips stored in my garage in cold storage, like in a cold room type deal. But as the season wore on last year, I just found myself feeling kind of lazy, and I didn't feel like picking them all. So I left some in this bed just to see how they would do. And I have moles in this garden. I have voles in this garden, but in various places, but they seem to have left it alone. I would have thought they'd been, if they're a real problem, they would have been added over the course of the winter. So anyway, I thought I'd just give you a sense of the technique I used in this bed. I put a plastic dome over the top. I'll put the dome back over this at the end of the video so you can see what I'm talking about. But the key thing was, in the fall when I was harvesting everything, to harvest all the parsnips that were near the side and maybe a hand span, like 8 inches, 10 inches from the side. The outer edge of the bed. And this bed, yes, it's a raised bed, but the soil level is maybe only 3 inches above grade. It's barely raised. But anyway, these outer edges are the ones that freeze first. So I harvest all the parsnips from about the side to 10 inches all the way around. And you just leave the parsnips in the middle, right? Because that's getting the better insulation. And then even when you're putting a dome over this, you put something to keep it, some hay or some leaves around the edge to almost act like an insulation. But that's the general trick. And this is not perfect. This bed, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it's rotting out, right? Like I can push the stick right through the side, right? This is one of my original beds, so I would have built this bed in 2012 or 2011 out of just 2x8, factory milled 2x8 spruce, untreated. So for those that always ask how long will they last, well, I guess 8 years. This all depends on your climate and moisture and all that sort of stuff. But these are done. So at some point this coming season I have to replace this frame. But anyway, I got about maybe one or two more harvests left of this sort of thing. And I got to do it soon. I mean, if you have something still in the ground, you don't want it to start growing, or the flavor will degrade. You want the vegetable to be in hibernation mode, not in growing mode, right? And these will start to grow. You leave these in the ground, they'll grow like 4 feet high, and they'll make all kinds of flowers and go to seed, which is great if you want to save the seeds. But if you want to eat them, you want to get them out of the ground before they start to do that. And this is, if you can get your garden thawed out, this is the time to do it. But anyway, just a few thoughts on keeping a dome on a garden and keeping the garden from freezing over the course of the winter. It's definitely worth your while. You learn a lot about your garden, and of course, early in the season, I mean, everything else is frozen solid right now, but I could actually plant something like a spinach or a lettuce in this bed, and those seeds are really tough. They can take the really cold nights. It's just still getting down to like -10 at night sometimes, but those seeds can take it, and you get a string of warm days with some sun, just the right conditions, under a plastic dome, under a hoop house or something like that, you'll get germination. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.